On my number 5, it is Moneyball. This stars Brad Pitt, and it is about baseball and how the differences of some teams having too much money in their budget and the other teams having too little bit of money in their budget, and how it's sometimes all about the money and how it's like the dirty business of baseball. I thought it reflects on that very well. It wasn't your typical baseball movie at all. It wasn't your typical sports film. It was very original, and I think Brad Pitt gives a great performance in it. It's great. It's a great film.
Yeah. At my number 5 is Rise of the Planet of the Apes. This is probably the most mainstream, aside from Glee, movie that came out. Yeah. But I really love Rise of the Planet of the Apes because it focuses on Andy Serkis's Caesar, the ape, and the motion capture effects are amazing. And it's a really emotional and good story. So it did well, and I'm interested in seeing a sequel. So Rise of the Planet of the Apes, I think it was really great.
And on the number 4 spot of the year, it is the movie 50-50. I thought this was an excellent film. It's very comedic. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he has shown once again that he is a great actor. He showed it in Inception, Brick, Mysterious Skin, a bunch of other great films. He's a great actor, and this has to do with a very strong story. It's tragic, about cancer, but it works its way well as a drama and a comedy, and I think it's such a great film. It gives a good message. 50-50.
My number 4 is Attack the Block. This is a UK movie, and it's basically an alien invasion story told in the slums with a bunch of criminals and thugs. And so a lot of black kids and urban, and it's British. And I've really bought. I didn't believe in the aliens, but I believed in what these thugs would do to aliens, and their relationships and how they reacted felt true and real. And it was just cool. You just see characters that are cool, and I loved Attack the Block as an alien invasion, because we see a lot of them, and this was a really good one.
All right. And making its way to my number 3 spot, it is Drive. This is a great film. This has a typical plot, but the way it's done, the style is so amazing, and it gives that kind of that 80s feel. I think Ryan Gosling acts intense here. He's a great actor as it is, and he had the Ides of March as well. Didn't make my list, but Drive was his better film of the year, and I think this has it's like a great crime thriller, but with its own little touch and flair. It's a great film.
And making my way at number 3 is 50-50, which Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who plays a guy who gets cancer on his spine, and he has 50-50 chance of surviving.
Yeah.
And Seth Rogen is really good in this. He's not annoying. He really, he works as the friend. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is perfect as an actor. He really conveys emotion, and he doesn't go overboard. Anna Kendrick as the psychiatrist did a good job, and it's a small movie, and it could have been more about trying to be sentimental, but it feels real. It feels like this guy, it's real, So 50-50, really great.
And the second best film of the year is Melancholia. This is a film by Lars von Trier. He's done films like Dogville, Breaking the Waves. He is a great director, and this film has to do with Melancholia, this planet coming to blow up Earth. Basically, it's going to collide with Earth, and the human species might come to an end. Not just that, but it has to do with various elements of psychology and spirituality. This film is not only visual, but it has a good story as well. The cinematography is mind-blowing. Melancholia is definitely a good to have on number 2. This is one of Lars von Trier's best films.
And my number 2 is a movie that, Drive by Nicholas Winding Refn, and stars Ryan Gosling. It's like a Michael Mann type movie, but done in a 70s noir. I love the song Night Call. It's probably the only song on this soundtrack that I've listened to all year. When I heard it in the movie, I was like, what is this song? I love the soundtrack. I love how everything happens very quietly. It's just quiet. It's real. No big stuff going on. It's just a character development, and it's great. Drive is going to be remembered a long time to come for how you do movies like this.
It was Drive is good. And the best film of the year, The Tree of Life.
Gotta disagree.
This is the best film of the year. This is an excellent film. It's visual. It's everything you want as far as spiritual, tragic. It has to do with faith, nature. Everything to do with the human emotion, the human species, the world. This is not only a great film, it's Terrence Malick's best film, because I did not like New World. And I did like The Thin Red Line, but Tree of Life is something else. It reminds me a lot of 2001: A Space Odyssey, a little bit like The Fountain. But Tree of Life is quite for some people they can't handle it because of just the visuals of creation and all that. But it has a decent story and it includes Brad Pitt. Tree of Life is definitely the best film of the year.
All right, my number one is Warrior. This is a story about two brothers who join Sparta, which is an MMA competition, and it's about them trying to forgive their father, trying to forgive each other. I really got emotional. I've seen it twice at the final fight, and it made me tear up, and that's really why it's here, because no other movie elicits a reaction emotionally for me, and I just love the story, the characters. Tom Hardy is brilliant. Nick Nolte does a great job.
Yeah.
And the fighting is realistic. I had no idea that Kurt Angle played Koba in this, which is it was weird that I had no idea it was him. But I just love that it was like, it's hard to forgive family. In this movie, it makes you happy when there's forgiveness and things like that. And I didn't like Tree of Life, but I felt Warrior was more something that emotionally would get to you, so we had a lot of disagreements and things, but Warrior is my number one.
Alright. So on my list, number 10 was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, number 9 was Rango, number 8 was Warrior, number 7 was The Descendants, number 6 was The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, number 5 was Moneyball, number 4 was 50-50, number 3 was Drive, number 2 was Melancholia, and my number one best film of the year was The Tree of Life.
My top 10 is as follows. My number 10 is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. My number 9 is Contagion. My number 8 is Moneyball. My number 7 is The Descendants. My number 6 is Glee 3D, the concert movie. My number 5 is Rise of the Planet of the Apes. My number 4 is Attack the Block. My number 3 is 50-50. My number 2 is Drive. And my favorite film of the year, my number 1, is Warrior.
So Raybes, I think 2011 overall was actually a weak year. I don't think it was that great of a year for films. I look back at films like in 2010 of like Inception, Black Swan, great films like that, The Town, and it doesn't measure up to this year. I think this year only had a couple of great films. It was weak overall. It's actually one of the weaker films of the last decade, weaker years of the last decade. Not many that great films. I was disappointed in this year overall.
Yeah, after Lord of the Rings came out in 2003, I felt that there was a decline in every year movies coming out, that there was no great, epic, amazing movies that you just knew were going to win the Academy Award. It was always like, we just don't know what's going to win. And this year there was some great movies that I love, but that they wouldn't win the Academy Award if you just had to be a betting man and say that one's going to win. There's a lot of underdogs and wild cards, and we don't know what's going to be nominated. But 2011 was weak. Every year, every month we waited for something, and it just felt like the studios are putting out less and less of great quality.
Yeah, there was a lot of less original stuff. Also, it felt like this year there was a lot of good films, but not great films. That was the problem. There was a lot of good films that you'd watch maybe once, maybe twice, but not anything like that you can call a masterpiece.
Like a Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, like a Lord of the Rings, something like that. So overall, it was a weak year. I hope 2012 will be better. What anticipated films do you have for 2012?
Of course, The Dark Knight Rises is going to be.
That's definitely on my number one right there.
Anticipated.
Christopher Nolan is back.
And The Hobbit, of course. The Hobbit.
Yeah, The Hobbit.
We were getting back to Lord of the Rings, but it's going to be. And there's a lot of films that we have no idea that are going to come out in 2012. You can expect to maybe see Dark Knight Rises and The Hobbit nominated for Academy Awards, but then there's going to be 7 or 6 other movies that we don't even know about.
And The Dark Knight Rises is the ending for the trilogy for Christopher Nolan.
Batman.
And it'll feature Bane and Christian Bale again as Batman, and I know Christian Bale this is going to be his last Batman, closing off Christopher Nolan. Nolan just had Inception in 2010. He did The Prestige, Memento. This guy is a great director. I know it's going to be a great film. Also, I'm looking forward to Skyfall, which is the next James Bond film.
James Bond.
I'm a James Bond fan.
Bardem is the villain.
It's going to be 4 years since Quantum of Solace.
Which was weak. Quantum of Solace was the weakest.
It was weak. It was a little weak.
So they got a lot to prove.
Especially when you compared it to Casino Royale. It was weak, because Casino Royale was great, and Quantum of Solace was on the mediocre side. But, The Amazing Spider-Man.
Well, I'm looking forward to the Avengers and Amazing Spider-Man, but
we're all talking about right now, about the big blockbusters, but you never know until when the year comes, the actual great films that are dramas and have great acting and great story come along.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the animated movies, we still
animated
Brave.
movies.
Pixar's Brave, I think, is the only
also
one
as
that
well.
I'm looking forward to. So that's 2012.
We look forward to 2012. This is the last episode of the year for 2011. I'm Rob.
And I'm Raybes.
We'll see you next year.